So I will look for some lace to put on there. So I will look for some lace to put on there. Hi, Linda. How are you? On this super cold Thursday night. Hi, Linda. How are you? Oh, let's turn down that volume. Hi, Jackie. Just gonna give it a minute for Jimmy Lou to share us in, and then we'll be off and running. I am good, thank you. I think I'm ready to do this, so we're good. It is cold in Montgomery County too. It is like stupid biting cold to where I can't get my dog to go outside of the bathroom. So she's like literally holding it, and I'm not sure that's the best idea. So, hi Jackie. Hi Jimmy Lou. So, welcome everybody. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. I'm really excited to be here tonight. I am stepping in for Carrie Hall, who had a family emergency and wasn't able to join tonight. So I am grateful that Jimmy Lou is letting me jump in. So let's get started. So this is for Journal Pals. We are in the Junk Journaling Jamboree. And hi, Linda and Mary. Up after me is Jimmy Lou. So you all can imagine what I'm feeling like right now. Hi, Roberta, being sprinkled in between Liz and Jimmy Lou. So, you know, gulp and all the things. And then after Jimmy Lou is crafting time with Jamie too. And then we'll have Funky Junk Inspiration. And to close us out tonight is Cynthia with Shabby Hearts by Vines. So lots of stuff to continue to watch. We say on my page, pop the bubbles. So if you want to SHARING, I would really appreciate it. And why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to bring you all down here. And I will say, starting off, that it was sort of like, what am I going to do? I'll go and get a journal that I've been working on for quite a while. And so happens that it's a sewing journal. And so I had to just laugh at, of course, there have been a couple of sewing journals today. So we're going to go ahead and start playing with a sewing journal that I started probably 2-3 weeks ago. Growing up, I had this, a lot of us have this, button box that we got when we were little. This is metal. And I got this button box from my mom, and I'm sure it was my grandmother's. And every night when my mom would make dinner, I would go into the kitchen and I would pretend I was cooking. And I would just stir and stir and stir. And of course I was stirring buttons, but to me, I thought I was, you know, making a dinner like a grown-up. So this stays with me. So as I said, I know it's a little strange, but I really am working on a sewing journal, which kind of cracked me up today. I have already put the cover on it, put the inside cover on it. It's going to have 5 signatures on it. So this is going to be a chunky monkey, and I love chunky journals. And I know that I'm missing you all, and I'm very sorry. If I miss anybody, I'm going to go back later and say hi. Debbie, Janet, Molly, Cindy, Lainey, Debbie, I'm sorry. Okay, so I always have to remind myself to breathe. Okay. So I wanted to bring out, aside from showing you all the journal, hi Julie, I wanted to show you that I too, and I know Lydia had mentioned this, that she's been collecting ephemera and goodies for a while, as have I. I think anybody that works in a sewing journal probably any journal, you spend time going through what stash you've got, going through maybe your mom. My mom sewed a lot, and so, you know, this isn't, most of this stuff is stuff that I was gifted or whatnot. So anywho, we'll go through this stuff, but I know Lydia showed her beautiful ephemera, and I've been actually working on mine for quite a while too, but this is one of them for those that have ever made one of these. This is probably my most favorite bit of ephemera to make, and so we'll stick that somewhere in the journal. Okay. And again, forgive me, I'm a little nervous. Okay, so let's get started. So I knew that I wanted to go vintage. I'm a vintage person anyway, so I tend to love grunge and vintage and all those types of things. So I did find very vintagey paper, and we'll go through the signatures that I put together. But along with that, I had this vintage pack of hand needles that are so vintagey. Hi, Cheryl and Julie. That are so vintagey, they're rusted. And that to me is like so amazing, right? It brings me back to my childhood when my mom used to sew the hems on the bottom of my pants, and then I'd have to go to school with those little things sewn on the bottom of my pants. So she did a lot of the sewing of my clothes. So that's, you know, that's a fond memory for me. So I made this envelope, shape pocket to kick it off and really help folks to understand that this is an authentic sewing journal. I even pulled together, hi Christy and Linda Jeremiah, I even pulled together a bunch of thread puddles because I embroider, and so I may have a little bit of those lying around. So I really love, hi Deborah, really love to pull those in when I do junk journaling. Probably not this big of a wad of them, but you get the idea. So we'll pop those in there with those rusty needles. And my prints did come off of Etsy. I can share a link if anyone's interested. It is actually 2 sets of very different, as you'll see, journaling papers and journaling styles, but, you know, I tend to be very different too. So we will kick it off with some ephemera that I made, just adding some sewing stickers to the bottom of it, just to dress it up a little bit. And then on the back of it, I went ahead and added some lace and made the opening page of the journal into a pocket. And then again, you have your mom's needles like that. They're, you know, it's just wonderful memories, right? Wonderful memories. And so these are some old sewing patterns that I just think are adorable. Yes, Sue, I said adorable. And then if you've watched me before, you know that I really like to have the white space on the back of the prints. I rarely print back to back, and it just leaves some writing space and, you know, some space where I can distress it. Maybe I leave it blank. Maybe I do some stamps on it. So you'll see that in my work. And then we're getting to the very different style paper here. Hi, Jackie. So again, I'm going back and forth. It's still the old-fashioned. I think they said that this was from, you know, like the 50s era. Back to the vintage. I have my mom's sewing machine, but I'm gonna be honest and say it's in my closet. So you know, it's a little emotional for me. So I think for right now, I love hand sewing and I love embroidering. So I believe, hi Lydia, I believe what I'm going to do is do some hand sewing in the journal so that it's got some sewing in it. But of course, some of their papers have these prints in it, and my thought is to take some rickrack, which I just think is the coolest thing in the world, and put some rickrack on it, right? So it gives it the pop of vintage. So I'm probably going to do that. I also love to put trims and laces on the sides of my papers. This was, of course, really a tape measure. Woo, words are hard. A tape measure, and so I started to dig around and see what kinds of tape measures I had in the house. So I had a fabric one. We probably all have this plastic one. Hi, Ann. Hi, Sue. We probably all have this one, if I'm being real. And so this will most likely find its way, you know, on the side of one of the papers, if not a part of the journal. And one of the ephemera pieces that I did in here, this one, in fact, I took some of the tape measure off and put it on there, right? So it adds just a little something, something. This is actually a belly band. Okay. So why don't we get started actually putting some stuff in after I show you this. So this is a vintage sewing machine, which actually looked just like my mom's. So I don't know if this is a Singer, but it looks like my mom's. And I flipped it up and just put some stickers on the back of it. And for this, I am going to go ahead and add some glue and some washi tape to the back of it to secure it. So we'll work on that. Well, let's get started. All right. This morning on my live, I talked about the fact that I may or may not, but probably may have a lace and trim issue. And I love them. I think that they can really make anything that you do pop. It can give it a different feel. And so you're going to see probably a lot of this. I will work on this journal in my lives as well. But I also found or have this adorable fabric that not only goes with the vintage vibe, but the color. And I really, really liked it. For those that don't want to look upside down, this piece has a postcard on it, which I thought was really cute. So we will be incorporating that. And being in, I can't talk tonight, embroiderer, I have my stitch book, and I actually have a couple of them. So I decided right after I retired a year ago that I would learn how to embroider. And so went on Amazon, as we all do, and then YouTube, and I got a stitch book. And so it just goes through all the different types of stitches and how to do them. So this is going to be popped in, which will only make it a more chunky monkey. And I am good with that. So let's get started here. Simplicity patterns also bring me back to my childhood. My husband and I often laugh that we remember going with our moms to this one particular fabric store when we were little, and it was on the corner, and I remember it had glass all around it, and my mom would buy these patterns. So finding these patterns really just spoke to me. I may or may not have had one of these dresses when I was little. I'm sure I did. So if anybody's mother was a seamstress back in the day or even now, you probably have these patterns as well. But my thought was, since this is journaling space on this side, I would put this on this side, right, and turn it into most likely a side tuck, because there's more room on the side. So let's go ahead and do that. You'll also find out that I have a punch issue, and literally own number of punches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that, and we're gonna hope my glue. Hi Maritza, you're not late. You're never late. Hopefully my glue is doing what my glue needs to do. It's been sticking and holding on to the inside of the bottle for most of the day. Like, it is just not coming out. So, okay. All right. So this gives a tuck spot on the back. You know, obviously, again, this is writing space, and maybe here they're tucking in some pictures, or maybe a memory from when they were little and either their grandma or their, you know, their mom sewed. Yes, Jamie, it has been, what, about 10 minutes? Hi, Liz. Okay, so let's think what we want to do over here. Again, I have this entire box full of ephemera, and some of the ephemera pieces I'm going to take some time and cut out. I love McCall's. I think this would be a really cute, maybe 2.5 or 3 inch wide journaling card. So I think I'm going to take at least that one out and pop that on there, or maybe something to do with the first show. I just think this stuff is so cute. Super cute. And I don't know if you all remember, but I remember when I was little, my mom would get that Sears Roebuck catalog, and I could kick myself when I moved out when I got married at 24. Just a baby. And I left that catalog and other things at the house, never thinking that, you know, 5 years later, my mom would be gone. But if you've got mementos from your mom or your grandma, hang on to them. You know, even if you don't journal, they're fun to, I know Lydia talked about her mom having stuff and putting it in a frame. So whatever you've got, I just encourage you to hang on to it, because it is super cool. It's nostalgia. Maybe it's that I'm getting older and I'm more nostalgic. Okay. So I think for this one, this is seam binding. So I don't know if you all have seam binding hanging around, but this one is one of my particular favorites because it's lacy. And again, trims, lace. You're getting the picture. So I'm trying to decide if I put it. All right, ladies, you know I like input. So I'm going to work you a little bit. So I would like to use this lace. I think it's gorgeous. Should I put it on the side with the little girl? Or should I put it on the longer page? So A is the little girl, and B, well, she looks like a little girl too, but A or B? Where should I put the seam binding? I'm putting everybody to work. And hopefully, thank you, Sue. And I promise I'm going to get to a point where I can actually journal upside down. Like, that's one of my goals. so you all can see the actual page that I'm journaling on, and it's not, you know, upside down. So Sue likes them both. And we can certainly do one here and one here. Maritza is saying B. Jamie's being difficult and saying A. Thank you, Jamie. So now we have an A and a B and a both. Would somebody like to weigh in? Jamie, was that Cubby weighing in, or was that you? Because that's going to make a difference. Molly's saying B. Okay, let's put her on here. So we're going to go. I love Beacon products, and I love their 3-in-1 glue because it is, probably help if I move the camera. It is less expensive, at least what I've found, than the Fabri-Tac, but this is a wonderful, wonderful glue. And everybody is weighing in. Cubby, I knew it. I knew it. 15 cents, Rose. Can you all imagine? 15 cents up to $2 for, I can't even imagine anything being 15 cents. I don't know about you all, but there is nothing that I've seen that's 15 cents. I couldn't even convince, I asked my grandson, who is 7, what he was he going to get money from the Tooth Fairy? And he said, oh yes, I need $20. And I said, $20? Are you kidding me? Anya, he says to me. He was just absolutely floored. I said, Boo, I'm thinking a quarter. Like, you know, we can get $20. But then I have to say back in my day, and then I just kind of, all right, whatever. Okay. So what do you all think? It's very light. It blends in, but it's something, you know, it's something there, right? Okay. All right. So the next question for this one is, I have these little picture frames, and I'm wondering, let me show you some of my stuff I have over here. I have some goodies. Maybe she's holding, ooh, that's a big purse. Well, maybe she's got a lot of sewing stuff in her big purse. The other thing I do like to do, and I want to remember to do it, is if I've got pictures of curtains or I've got pictures like this, I like to take the skirts and put lace or some sort of fabric on them just to make them pop. I've even got some cheesecloth, although I'm not sure she wants to go out and cheesecloth. But 2 ribbons for my hair, JCPenney's for 10 cents. Can you even imagine 1958 to the 60s? Good times. Oh, that's a beautiful memory. That is a really beautiful memory. So let's see. What should we put on her? On her skirt. And I'm not going to discount the cheesecloth, right? Because she's wearing it over it. She is not going out looking inappropriate. So maybe she's got this lovely little, maybe this is all the rage in Paris fashion. Wearing cheesecloth over your stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying. So we're going to keep that on the table. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. I've got a lot of trims. I don't necessarily know that I'd want to put those on there. We could even take a little bit of lace and maybe it goes down the middle. Sea Rose, that is really, really sweet because I'd probably rather have the ribbons than the candy and the popcorn. So I am right there with you. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this. Just a simple lace down the front. Her waist is literally like a size 2. But that's okay. I'm not bitter. Do you think that this would look good, ladies? I don't want it to look like a... Or... See, now I feel like I'm just playing with my paper dolls back when I was little, which was super fun. And then we're not allowed to play with paper dolls and we have to go get a grown-up job, are we? People would frown on that. But then you can retire and you can play with paper dolls. Or maybe it's this new look in Paris. It's lace over cheesecloth. What are you all thinking? Thoughts? The cream lace. Okay. Yeah, it's really pretty, isn't it? We may have to put something in her hair too, but let's see what we can do here. Any other thoughts? Thank you, Liz. Right, Lydia? Did you all play with paper dolls when you were little? I'm telling you, I would go in my closet where nobody could get to me, and my mom would get me those paper dolls, and I would just sit there cutting them up, playing with them. You know, they were my friends. Okay. I know, right, Lydia? Because I have all boys and all grandsons, playing with pretty things is even that much more important to me now, because it just is, right? Too many years of finding, excuse me, but jock straps in our bed from my kids playing football and baseball. So I think I'm going to go big or go home and do both. You know what I mean? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think she's going to get both. Sometimes you just have to have both. So let's just do it. Let's hope my glue. What is the deal with glue right now? My house is not 5 degrees inside of it. Okay. Alrighty, let's put her beautiful skirt on her. She's gonna look amazing at Paris Week. That's all that I'm gonna say to you ladies. She is going to look amazing. Okay. Alrighty. Let's trim some of that off. And then we will get, thank you, Linda. And then we're gonna get, really? Liz, remember how you talked about that new bottle that you were using? I think I'm about to walk over to my shelf and get a new bottle, because this is like a little bit crazy. Okay, we don't want to cover up her itty bitty waist. And now I too have glue all over my fingers. All right. Wow, belle of the ball. Right? Okay. So this, of course, is not a tuck spot. It's a pretty. And I will go ahead, let's do it now. I'm going to use the ground espresso. If this is too dark, I will switch over to vintage photo. Let's see how this goes. I think it's good. Just to give a little color to the page. I also am not real big on white, so I tend to put inks, dyes on the pages, or some of my distress sprays, just to give a little bit of depth to the page so it's not so stark white. I'm going to put some on her too. Okay. Thank you, Rose. I think it's a lovely upgrade, and the other ladies are going to be jealous, right? Okay. I am going to put something here so this doesn't stick to the page. Fool me once, ladies. I think we probably all had, oh, thank you, Sue. It is adorable. I think we've all had those glue encounters where you flip the page and then it sticks to the other page. So this is the page that we talked about. I'm going to skip around because I'm a squirrel, so bear with me. But I am going to skip. I stuck some stuff in here that I think I want us to play with a little bit. Do you all remember these needle threaders? This, just so adorable, adorable. So I popped one onto, because you got to have one of these, right? With some lace under it. So I popped that on there. I think what I'm going to do, now that I'm thinking about it, I might, not on the live. You do not want to see Shaky Girl using anything sharp. But I think when I'm not on the live, I will, my thought is to perhaps cut this out a little bit and put one of the vintage tags. This one might be too big, but find a small vintage tag in my stash over here and maybe have it flip up and then you can pull the tag out that way. And so on the back of this, I would cover that up, whether that is with paper or fabric, not lace, but I do have over here, I've got additional papers. So I'm thinking that I would do something like, aren't these cute? Oh, it's Ribbons and Rhymes, and they are on YouTube. Look at that. So I can share this with you all. But I'm thinking maybe cut some of, maybe a little simplicity and make, you're still using your thread. I am too. And the older I get, the more I use my threader. Like yeah, that's another story. So I think that's what I'll do here is make this flip up or flip this way and pop a tag into that so it brings this page a little bit more to life. Yes, again, I'm sandwiched in between Liz and Jimmy Lou, which would be why I'm starting to breathe some a little bit, but just here playing. Bye, Lydia. Take care of your husband. And I got these cute little stickers, so we could certainly maybe do something over here with some stickers. I'm not sure how the bird got in there, but we'll let the bird perhaps go to a bird journal. So I think on this one, and I can't decide if I would do pink, because that goes with that. This doesn't pink in it. And then I've also got, thank you ladies, I've also got, look at these little scissors. Aren't they cute? So cute. Adorable. I've got those for these. And then if we really want to kick it back, old school, I remember these metal ones. And I'm quite sure I stuck myself with these quite a few times. And if you want to know what sharp is, that little bit right there is sharp. So if I use these, I will pop these in here and I will actually put something around the bottom so nobody gets stuck with them. Lesson learned with those. They are sharp. Okay. All right. Let's do this page. All right. I need your brains again. I'm going to put you to work again. Sewing machine. A or B? B is the pink one. The pink one's a little smaller. Maybe. Is that smaller? It's a little smaller. What do you think? See, Roberta, I think everybody probably has those. And I remember my grandparents having that white metal medicine cabinet. And these just remind me of those, which cracks me up. And then one day my grandkids will be like, I remember when Anya and T-Pop had this cabinet that, you know. Okay, so A or B, what do you think? The bigger sewing machine. It does match up with this one, doesn't it? So if we're consistency across, look at the big wheel on the side of the sewing machine. Oh my God, that cracks me up. Okay, I think people are going with this. Let's do it. Let's do it. See? My glue is like angry. I don't know, people. Okay. Lainey, Deborah, okay. Angry glue. You know what we're gonna try? Let's see if my line co has warmed up. Because earlier today, it did not want to work. So let's see. Okay, am I going to be embarrassed? Like, is there a liner in here? Nope. All right, we're having a glue peril. Oh my. Hold please. While I put a needle in my glue. Send you a cover to use in this journal, a new one of you. Aw, that's so sweet. That's very sweet. Y'all are the best. Oh, see, and then it's like, hello. Really? Lord. Shaking doesn't help, does it? Okay. So let's pop you down here. So there's our Singer sewing machine. Glue everywhere. Total glue everywhere. Okay. So we got that. Oh, you know what we've got to do, ladies? Hi, Amy. Oh, well, welcome. I know that these lovely ladies are going to welcome you in. It is so nice to see you here. And if you like what you see, please like and follow. Would love to have you come on this journey with me of journaling. Let's go back, because I think this ladies, we didn't give her her purse. Oh, yeah. Let's give her her purse. And I think, you know what we could do? We could make it a little tuck spot. Why don't we do that? So, I'm going to make my 3-in-1 glue work. It is angry. Okay. All right. So now we have a little, if I don't glue it down, we'll have a little tuck spot. Or a metal cookie tin. Yes, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. And again, I wonder what my grandkids are like. What they're going to grow up and be like, oh my God, do you remember when she used to journal all the time? Okay, so we will, oh, look at this. Isn't that cute? It's a giant button. Maybe we can pop that in there. So it's a little tuck spot. And I can make this into into a journaling card, a mini journaling card. So I'll work on that. Oh, Amy, well, welcome. You know what? We can learn together because I'm learning as I'm going. So come along with me. We're glad you're here. Okay. All right. So I think she's good. I think she's ready to go out on Paris night. And it's dry, although I did just whip that out of there. Okay, so let's go back here. We've got 15 minutes. And I haven't passed out yet, so I think we're good. I also have, look at this. Isn't that cute? A side tuck spot. So we're going to put that on one of our pages. I know I'm all over the place, but I just want to play a minute. I do want, this is way too white for me. So I do want to take a little bit of my ground espresso and cover some of the page. So it's not so stark white. Okay. Adorable. That is the word for 2026. Adorable. And maybe, and I know the sewing machine is bigger than the chair, but we're thinking different. Maybe it just looks smaller because of the way the room is set up. But maybe there's a little sewing chair. So we'll put a little sewing chair there. Because, you know, you want to sit down in a nice comfy chair while you're sewing. So there's a little chair here. And I'm going to push it up a little higher to make it appear as if it's, you know, a little bigger. Disproportionate, I know, but we've all got amazing imaginations, right? Amazing imaginations. And so while we're imagining, this might be a little bit of a stretch. This might be a little bit of a stretch with the pincushion. I know, but it's okay because we've got, you know what we could do? Maybe there's another chair in the room. So maybe we've got a couple of chairs. We could certainly put another chair. And maybe this chair is a tuck spot. So let's do a little tuck spot with this chair. And this is not like your normal, right? I don't like your normal. I like to be a little different. So we're going to put this up there. And we're going to make that into a little tuck spot. And let's see what else we've got over here. I have some ephemera. I do. Maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, there's a duck. It'll go with the bird. I'm not sure. In ironing, I do not iron. Oh, but maybe this girl, she's a little girl, maybe she's sitting behind the chair. So let's put her in there. She's going to sit behind the chair. How many kids sit on the floor behind the chair, not really in the chair? Thank you. You know, I don't know. I guess retirement has helped me become a little bit more creative, right? Okay. So that's my thought on that page. You've got a tuck spot, and then just some stuff to laugh at along with my dog hair. Okay, just get that out of there. Okay. And then we're going to move on. I will cut this with the blade off camera. You do not want to witness that. So we're going to move on. We won't tell my husband I'm using a blade to cut that. That will be a whole thing. And then I know I mentioned to you all that I love Rick Rack. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of Rick Rack. I think the colors go really well with it. Right? I kind of like a pop of this on there. But before I do that, I like to take, I like levels, right? And so each paper is a different level, and I love that. And I also love to make tuck spots, which we've already done back here with the Simplicity pattern over that, some lace over the beginning of the journal. And so I think what I'm going to do is let's see what we've got to cover this up. And I took a tear ruler at the bottom and just put on a different edging for the bottom, just to give your eye something different to look at. So we can go over the back here with, oh, I got ephemera. I have to show you that. All right, let's see what we got. Another thing we could do, actually, as I think about it, is I could get, and I could make some ephemera with the ephemera that I've got. I love making ephemera. But what I could do is to take this brown cardboard that I've got, cardstock that I've got, and maybe, you know, cut it to that size and put some of the ephemera on it. So that could be something that we do. Oh, fair, Molly. That is fair. And actually, I should probably wear those all the time if we're being real. I won't tell you about the time I cut my thumb off while I was making a salad. Yeah. Anywho, my son owns a restaurant. He keeps bringing me those gloves that you can't cut through. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. Now I've got like 5 pairs. I get it. So, kind of funny. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is make one to fit here and then put some ephemera on it. So kind of dress the ephemera up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I won't tell you what my husband said when I said I was going to take the shears and go outside and do some of the bushes in the front yard. I literally thought, hi, Karen. I literally thought my husband was going to have a heart attack. And I'm like, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't do shears. Though it was fun, you know, for like a second to watch his face. So I will do this off camera and see what else. I may put some pearls around it, or I've got, I love glitter. And so I might put some of this glitter around it just to make it pop a little bit, maybe on the tops of the pins. So I'll play a little bit with that. I do love me some glitter, so that'll be fun to work on. We've got 8 minutes. I want to show you a couple other things that I have been working on for ephemera for this. I'll turn her around. It's true, Molly. It's absolutely true. It's true. And if it was my children, I'd be like, see, you don't listen to me. But if you would just listen to me, I'm your mom and I know, right? So this is a belly band that I made out of small pieces of ephemera that I put over. You can see on the bottom, it was just a strip of paper that I literally ripped off. I knew how wide I wanted the belly band to be. So I also added some buttons. I like to do things in odd numbers, like 1 or 3 or 5. And so it sort of plays off of the buttons at the bottom. And then I added a little bit of the thread puddle that I showed you in the beginning. And there's some bling, because I am a bling girl. So I went ahead and added some stickles to it. So this belly band will go on one of the pages, but it really does show you that a belly band doesn't have to be the common type I think that we're all used to. It can be papers that you put together, envelopes that you put together, fabric. Use your imagination. Whatever you've got, it can be put together, right? And so thank you, Sue. So this will go, I call her my Taylor Swift because she kind of looks like her. It cracks me up. It is adorable. So I think she'll go on one of these, probably, I don't know, probably one of these pages. And then most likely, and I like things in my journals that hang over the journal, whether it's at the top or the bottom or the side. And I know that makes them more vulnerable. So most likely, I'll take this and put some Mod Podge on it to strengthen it so that Taylor doesn't get her head cut off when we shut the journal. Oh, I even gave her a ring. Put a little bling on her finger. So that is some of the ephemera that I've been working on. I also love to do clusters, and so this is another thing that you all can do. I am sure everybody has, thank you, Mary, I'm sure everybody has random pieces of lace, random buttons, just all the little bits and pieces that we have lying around. And make some clusters, right? They can either, I chose not to make this into a tuck spot, but I could have made this into a tuck spot, right? To where you only put the glue up at the top half of it and then you're able to tuck stuff into it. So I am quite sure that if I asked this group here, you would have jars. I'm going to drop everything. And just little things and places that you've stuck bits and pieces. Go in, see what you've got. Take a piece of, I've even got a big puzzle piece in here that I'm going to make. I'm thinking of making it into a journal card. Hi, Carol. Right? There's room on the back you can write. And just have fun with it. Maybe you pop some papers onto it. I have so many little bits and pieces. Some fabric, cheesecloth. So these are fun things to do while you're making a journal if you don't want to go on Etsy and buy an ephemera pack, right? It is fun. I think it's funner to make your own. So keep that in mind. I know a good majority of us, if not everybody, has something stuck. It's sort of like my junk drawer in my craft room. So there's one in the kitchen. There may be one in my room. Now there's one in a craft room, right? And so it's just a great place if you're, hi, Joe. Hi, Linda. That if you're crafting and you've got a little bit of something, pop it in there and then make a cluster. And I added some lace. And we've got 2 minutes, and I'm going to turn you over to Jimmy Lou, who will wow us as always. I am so appreciative that I got to do this. The end of the hour, I'm starting to breathe a little. It's a good thing. I appreciate each and every one of you and your patience with me while I get through working through my sewing journal and my nerves. But I hope everybody has a phenomenal night. Remember, get yourself some coffee so you have a little bit of caffeine. If you're in the Junk Journal Jamboree, all you have to do is refresh your page, and I will speak with you all soon. Take care.